Welcome back to Living in the Pacific Northwest with Byrd. I'm Byrd.
And I'm JB.
And today we're talking about a concept called
the lock and leave lifestyle.
And if you're new to this channel, you may want to know why we create videos like this. Well, we relocated 7 years ago, and there was no content or channels like ours that existed at the time. And so we kind of had this idea.
We wanted to be the friend in the Northwest we wish we had at the time, trying to figure it all out, kind of guessing and trial by fire. So again, the resources that we provide, this channel is all created in the hopes and results of helping you if you're looking to relocate to or within really the Pacific Northwest, of kind of just having boots on the ground, people you trust, and opinions that you know kind of are pretty honest, not slanted one way or the other.
So if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in the Pacific Northwest, whether you're moving to or moving within the Portland metro area and some extended areas as we grow our team, please feel free to reach out. You can shoot me a text at 360-818-4438, and our Zoom link is in the description below. So I think without further ado, we'll get started.
Yeah, so as the sun crests the roof line and starts to come into my eyes, we're joining you from Long Beach, Washington, one of our favorite places to go and recreate. The Pacific Ocean's right over our shoulders there. But this video was inspired recently by a client who reached out to you, who's looking to relocate from Colorado to our neck of the woods in greater Vancouver, Portland metro area.
Yep.
And they're looking for what's commonly referred to as the lock and leave type of property or lock and leave lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. And so I guess it would help to define what a lock and leave is. So a lock and leave can be something where you have the ability to lock it, leave it, and not have to worry about it. So some of the aspects that you're going to look for when you're looking at a lock and leave are going to be security, low maintenance, something maybe a little bit more simple, something small, basically the opposite of owning acreage or land. And I know that one of the things that's quite maybe amusing is the word, is that a lot of people still think that the Pacific Northwest is this vast wilderness and not full of big cities and suburbs and, you know, hundreds of thousands of people. And so there's a lot more lock and leave opportunities than I think people realize in the Portland metro area.
Right, and in this video we're going to discuss how it could probably be like the best of both worlds to live in the Northwest, where you're taking advantage of all of this beautiful natural beauty, whether you're on the coast or you're in the mountains or up in the Sound. But so you can take advantage of all of that kind of top quality lifestyle, air quality, all of the things that you hear us talk about. But you can also have a very low maintenance, stress-free lifestyle where you can take off and have like your weekend trips or your travel and just one less thing to sweat.
And I think it's kind of born from that feeling of wanting to have it all, to maintain a high level of living, maybe an upscale lifestyle where you could be a snowbird, or if you have to work in be in office for part of the time, or maybe you just want to spend your retired years traveling. It kind of is born out of this desire to have it all, and instead of having it all on one property, you get to lock and leave your primary residence and go and take advantage of, like you said, the adventures that the Northwest has.
Yeah, there's so much to experience. So again, there's no wrong answer, right? We're all on our own journey. So a lot of your clients, they want 5 or 20 acres where they can kind of be in the middle and secluded. And one of our clients recently said they want to be able to walk around naked. What did Mike say?
Oh, he said he wants to be able to go into his backyard naked and yodel and not disturb a soul.
Right. Shout out to Mike. So if that's what you want.
And we have 2 clients this week that are under contract on both of them 5-acre properties.
Right, which you can find in abundance up here. Yeah,
and then also we have a client who went under contract this week that is buying a townhouse that they're going to rent out and then eventually use as their landing place when they relocate.
Which is a really, really smart strategy, and kind of reminds me of a video we did recently, the 2 to 5 year blueprint, which you guys should definitely check out.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this client who called, kind of what their lifestyle consists of currently, kind of what they're looking for in their new home in the Northwest.
So she is retired, he is about to retire, and right now where they live in Colorado, he can go out and do trail running just a couple blocks from their home, but she has always wanted to live near water, and so they're trying to find a compromise now that they're empty nesters, now that they're both going to be retired. And he's always liked Portland. She wants to be closer to the coast. They have kids that are out on this coast that make it easier to visit. And so we were talking about what does that look like for them? Is it a downtown condo where he can still run in Forest Park? Is it somewhere like Hayden Island where she can get full water views at a very reasonable price? I mean, their price point is probably $800 to $1 million, but some of those condos on Hayden Island, you can have a water view for $300,000 to $500,000 easily.
Absolutely. So active lifestyle, but they want views, but they also want to be able to, when they take off, again, just have a kind of a low stress, low maintenance,
worry-free. So they can go on extended trips and they're not concerned about is the water leaking, is the grass being taken care of,
Right. And that's really kind of close to home for what we ourselves personally were looking for. At one point when we first moved to the Northwest, probably like a lot of you guys watching, had this romantic idea of having a massive amount of land and homesteading and growing our own stuff and doing all the things. And that's still a desire, absolutely.
But after we took a river cruise to Europe together, we came back and we started to have this conversation about we're not going to move to Europe, but what does a more European lifestyle look like for us, and how can we incorporate the things that we like about Europe into our daily life? So walkability, bikeability. And for us, that landed us in Ridgefield. That's why we moved to Ridgefield last year. And we wanted to be walkable to a downtown area. We wanted certain things out of our home, and Ridgefield provided for us just that perfect mix of what our needs were. And now when we go out of town, we have a very low maintenance backyard, front yard. We have a one level house. It's very easy to maintain.
Right, and that was one of our big considerations. So you talked a little bit about our new clients' considerations. We all have different considerations, right? But again, as our desires shifted, our consideration shifted. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's one of the things that makes working with you so appealing, is that you've kind of been there, done that, from moving into the area, from outside of the area, from thinking you wanted acreage to now having a lock and leave lifestyle, having a vacation home. So there's a lot of things I think that you can provide from a relatability aspect to people who are watching this video.
And I think it really helped to get honest with ourselves, because we almost bought how many acres of that property? An 8-acre property that had a functioning winery on it. And we were like, this is the lifestyle we want, but in reality, with the businesses that we're building, it doesn't fit our goals right now, our business goals right now, because we don't have the time to dedicate to it. Right. And we started to think through the logistics. We're like, realistically, like this is just not going to make sense for us. Right. We're not going to be able to serve all of you as well if we are also running a winery at the same time.
Winery, cider press. There's a herd of elk that shows up. And there's one of my favorite quotes of all time is know your limitations, right? So there's nothing wrong with, you have this one idea, but what works better in actuality?
Yeah, and I do work with a lot of clients who have these like dual criteria. They're like, well, if this, then this set of criteria for the house, and if that, then this separate criteria. And a lot of times people are embarrassed. They're like, we don't want to seem like we're all over the place. And I'm like, no, it's really common for families to have 2 to 3 different sets of criteria, and we're looking for the one that fits the best. And as you're going through that process,
it's always refining. And
like the couple that we're helping that lives just outside of LA, they're considering bringing the younger generation, one of their adult children, and the wife's mother, and they found a property they were in love with, and then they just realized this isn't going to work for our whole family for this situation. It works if it's just us, but not all 4 of us.
And one of the videos that we're actually excited to get up and running sooner than later is a video about how living in the Northwest, typically what we find is there's so many cases where either the parents follow the children up here to relocate, the children and grandchildren, or vice versa, the children and grandchildren follow the parents up here. But let's go back to something, because again, the concept of lock and leave isn't necessarily revolutionary, but again, all of this is with the context of living primarily home in the Pacific Northwest. And I think, again, going back to balance, kind of having it all a little bit, I think you can achieve that, because again, the Northwest offers a lot of things that are really undeniable, right? You have a very fair climate. We don't have extreme winters. We have an amazing, at least we're talking about Portland Metro, Greater Vancouver, we have an absolutely amazing international airport in PDX, which you also did a little spotlight on recently.
So check it out here.
So you have a lot of things that you can enjoy on a day-to-day, but also makes this lock and leave lifestyle even more attainable, if that makes sense.
How so?
Well, because again, you have access to an international airport, and then also what I did mention is within 2 or 3 hours you have literally like almost totally different worlds to enjoy.
It's like a buffet of options.
It's a buffet. I tell my friends and people ask me what it's like living here. I'm like, it's almost an embarrassment of riches. There's so many things to do and enjoy and experience that really you'll run out of time before you run out of options. So again, like right now we're about two-ish hours from home, sitting in Long Beach, Washington, near Astoria, Oregon, on the peninsula, and it's a whole different world. I love it here. It doesn't get hot. The typical highs are in the mid 60s.
I heard that this is where you run off to when it's going to be hot in Clark County.
This is where you'll find me at. Yesterday we actually had breakfast on the beach, which hopefully we can share some images and clips of. Again, it's just...
Now, is it always overcast like this?
No, as a matter of fact, I was hoping to record earlier this morning because the skies were clear. You could see the blue ocean. This is a little bit of it's like a marine layer, I guess, rolling in. Here we are at 11 a.m. But the point I wanted to make was that this is one world, right? Again, 2 hours from home in Ridgefield and Portland Metro, Greater Vancouver, that's another world. You can go less than an hour east into the gorge, the Columbia River Gorge, that's another world. You can go 2 or 3 hours towards Seattle and the Sounds. I mean, so again, there's literally no shortage.
The San Juan Island,
on Leavenworth, Washington.
Mount Hood, skiing,
right? So
hiking, Finger Lake.
The point is that you can have a very rich, well-balanced lifestyle at home, but then also within a few hours you can have some amazing road trips, which I can't do enough of. And then again, having access to PDX that could take you literally, we flew from Portland, Oregon to Amsterdam in 9 hours.
Nonstop.
Which blew my mind. So again, you just have a lot of really good options here if you're looking for a lock and leave lifestyle.
So I think if you're watching this and you're like, well, could this fit my lifestyle? There's a few like subsets of people that I think it really fits for. You've got professionals who might want to be like out on acreage. So the family from LA that I was just talking about, you know, they were really struggling with this idea of like, what's going to be right for our family. And I was like, well, if you need something that's closer in for your daughter to be able to move here and be comfortable and not be out in the country with you 40 minutes to an hour outside of the city, what if you bought 2 properties? What if you got a country home and a city condo? And then if you have family coming into town or they travel a lot, you can use that as like a landing pad, and then you can retreat to your country estate, your country acreage.
And it sounds, you know, at least again, the way I grew up was nothing like that. So it sounds kind of at first blush, if you're not used to it, also way far out. But in this video, we're going to touch on it a little bit. And in the future videos, we're going to really drill down on why, again, living here uniquely, it can be very attainable.
Yeah, and I think while we're talking about attainability, because that client had a budget from $1 million to $1.5 million, so we were looking at maybe a property that's like around 1 to 1.2 and maybe like a $300,000 condo. But it can even be attainable if you're in the 7s. Maybe you buy 2 condos, you know, or you scale back your budget to be able to have the extra discretionary income to then go travel. So a lot of times, you know, when I ask people, I don't ask people what's the max you're pre-approved for or what's your max budget. I usually ask like, what's your comfortable budget? Where are you looking to stay? Because we all know that the banks can pre-approve you up here. Like, we bought a house that's about half of what our max pre-approval was because we wanted to be more financially conservative. And we're very big fans of being financially conservative. And sometimes to get what you want, you know, you fall in love with it and you do go to the upper levels of your budget. But for a lot of my clients, you know, sometimes the lender will call me and be like, they can buy anything they want. Doesn't matter the price, they have the assets to cover it. And my clients will say to me, 600 is our max, even though they could go double, triple that if they wanted. And so there's ways to make it attainable at every budget. So we covered professionals that may need 2 residences. We talked about people who want to travel, maybe retirees that are looking to downsize, have less maintenance. And then another option is maybe you want a property that you can Airbnb and also use for personal use as a vacation rental. Yeah,
that's actually a really smart strategy, kind of along the lines of the 2 to 5 year plan a little bit.
Yeah, and it's kind of like we were talking about it earlier. It's like, instead of buying a timeshare these days, people will buy the property and then Airbnb it to cover the cost of it, and then just stay there 1 or 2 weeks a year. We had a client last year who moved from Pasadena, California to Portland, and their home sale in Pasadena allowed them to buy 2 properties, their primary residence in Portland, and they bought a vacation heirloom sort of family property that's going to stay in their their family for years in Martha's Vineyard.
Right. And actually, you've had clients who sold properties. Again, it depends on where you're coming from and the market where you live. But you've had clients who sold one investment property and turned that into 4 and 5 properties here in the Northwest.
Yep.
So again, it's great for cash flow. It's great for appreciation. It's great for adding assets to your portfolio. There's a lot of reasons for that.
So now we want to talk about some areas that you can do this within the Portland metro area. So the first is obviously downtown. The downtown condo market has been sort of in a recession or depressed, which is great if you're a buyer, not so much if you're a seller. So if you're a buyer and you're going to own long term, I think that some of the downtown condos in downtown Portland specifically can be great options. Very affordable. You can get water views. You have easy access to get to the airport, to do like a walkable lifestyle when you're in Portland. But in those high-rise condos, you can lock your door, leave it, and there's security in the building.
Right. And you can enjoy all the amazing things that Portland has to offer.
Yeah.
What about on the other side of the river in Washington?
So in Washington, I would say some of the great areas, and it doesn't have to be a condo.
No.
It could be a neighborhood like Steamboat Landing in Southeast Vancouver, which is gated, very safe, worry-free, secure community. That's waterfront. They have a private beach, a marina that's run separately from the HOA there. It could also be somewhere like Kirkland Tower. We have a client in Kirkland Tower, and Kirkland Tower is the only ownership opportunity at the Vancouver waterfront right now. The next closest is going to be some of those condos around Esther Short Park. Those are all great options. Hi.
Hey, Roger, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good to see you.
Not too bad, not too bad.
Didn't know you were here.
Yeah, the first time we seen you.
So we just had a neighbor, our condo neighbor next door, see us from downstairs. They were walking their dog and wanted to say hi. And they have a lock and leave here. They don't live in Washington State, and they get up here for about 6 weeks in the summer, and then they rent out their condo when it's not in use or when they're not using it.
Right. So that's actually is a good example, kind of to our point. So we talked about you talked about Kirkland Tower, which is a very, very nice high-end condo. You talk about Steamboat Landing, where we actually lived, but you don't have to. It doesn't have to be a condo or gated necessarily to be lock and leave. So there's a lot of options and a lot of parts of town that probably you'd be more than happy to help people kind of drill down on and find a lock and leave home.
Yeah, and like for our lock and leave, it's not gated, and it's also not a condo.
Right.
And so it doesn't have to be either of those things. I think there's some areas of like Camas, so if you like the idea of Camas or Ridgefield, there's ways that you can get a lock and leave because you have a certain sense of peace of mind.
Right. And outside of gated, to me, one of the aspects of lock and leave is having a smaller lot in a single family home, because not everyone wants to share walls, and I'm probably one of them.
I heard you're a little bit of an audio file.
I have my stretches, but the point is you can live in a single family home, detached home, and still have a smaller lot that's very easy / low maintenance and give you that lock and leave lifestyle.
Yeah.
So,
and that covers, I would say, one of the areas we didn't talk about in Portland too, or we talked about in the beginning of the video, is Hayden Island.
Yeah.
Lots of great condo options there. There's some pros and cons to that. So if you're interested in water view condos or single family homes that are in Hayden Island, let's talk about it, because I think it's really important to know the downsides of it that aren't obvious just by looking on Zillow or something. You can book a Zoom with our team in the description below. I'm on every Zoom.
Right. And two other thoughts, just not to cut you off, but one thought was you had some clients who were looking to buy their primary home in Ridgefield, and right now maybe changing their mind. Considerations have changed. Let's say, as opposed to the beach, what if you're into the mountains and skiing and winter sports? Is there stuff like that there?
So there definitely is. Those areas that I would look are going to be Government Camp, Welch's, Rhododendron, all in Oregon, very close to Ski Bowl and close to, what is it called? Mount Hood Meadows?
Yeah.
Mount Hood Meadows. I should know, we've been there multiple times. It's been a while. Close to like basically the skiing. So if you want like a more ski town, ski chalet, some really great townhouse options that would allow you to Airbnb them where you are right next to Ski Bowl, for instance.
Right. So we're just trying to illustrate as quickly as we can for the context of this video that you have a lot of options based on your own particular preferences.
Yeah, so whether you want the coast, the mountains, or you need a city lock and leave, if you're a professional that needs or wants to maintain 2 residences that are easy to maintain, or a retiree, or you're downsizing, or you're like us where you just want flexibility and a low stress lifestyle because you have other priorities, that's what a lock and leave can be great for. So I'd love to know in the comments if this lock and leave concept seems like something that would be a good fit for you, and why, and what sort of lock and leave you would want.
And that's why I think you're really an invaluable resource to help people kind of shorten their curve, if you will, and get to what they really want sooner.
I think that's a great point to end on.
Perfect.
So make sure you like this video, drop a comment, share this with someone you know who might be moving or want a lock and leave lifestyle. We'd be happy to help you guys. Reach out. We really appreciate you guys. Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah, thanks for watching Living in the Pacific Northwest with Byrd.
We'll catch you guys next time.
Ciao.
Ciao.